Hey, what's going on everybody, my name is British Guy Gaming and today I'm going to be doing a KOTOR tutorial. I'm going to be showing you a rough guide how you should be building characters, especially if you're new to the game, and eventually once you get more adapt to it you can change how it is in case you want to do certain types of playthroughs. A common example would be doing a blaster playthrough, you would learn how to do that. So anyway, let's get right into it. So starting off, we do have the three classes. These are the main ones, obviously later on. Spoiler alert, you do become a Jedi, and each of these will be a bit more representative of which way you want to go. So assuming you want to be a soldier, the most preferable route afterwards would to be a Guardian, because you're more into combat and melee. A Scout would most likely go into the Sentinel. It is, one that sits right down the middle, just like a Sentinel does. And Scoundral is one that you would use the Consoular for. Consoular, as stated in the second game, is for more advanced people. That's because it takes longer to hit the high potential, but once you hit your high force powers, you're a lot stronger. For this example, I'll just be selecting the soldier. Yeah, I'll do soldier, just to show you more in depth of each one. Portrait, this is entirely up to you, just choose what face you like. Attributes are important depending on what class you pick, so certain attributes are more beneficial to certain classes. So for example, with a soldier, they're going to be hitting more and they're going to be taking more damage up front. But before we go into what they need, I'll go into what each one does. Strength is how high damage you can do. Basically, the more damage you have, the more strength you have even, the more damage you'll do. Dexterity, it's good for range attacks, so if you're building a blaster character like I said earlier, you'd have high dexterity. It also increases your defense. Constitution is just good for your vitality points, it means you'll have more health and it means you can live longer. Intelligence gives you more skills. Wisdom is good for force powers, so more wisdom, more force points means you can do more powers. And charisma is one of the least important things in this game. It just says you can be persuasive and you can use the other side, English. If you're light side, you have less of a penalty for using dark side powers and vice versa. So with a soldier, I would go to recommend 16, 14, 14, 10, 12, and 10. You always want to have at least everything on a flat 10, that way you have no negative modifier. But I like to do this because you do high damage, you got high health, you got high defense, and you can build up wisdom that can help you heal yourself and whatnot. While you don't have to worry too much about intelligence because you'll have other party members who will have the skills to do it most likely in your party. And the same with charisma, as I said, you won't be using that much force powers, it'll be pointless. So next, the Sentinel. A Sentinel is an all-round type. They're not the best at fighting, but not the worst, not the best at force powers, not the worst. They're just in the middle. So for this, we are going to go for a 12. We're going to hit this to 16. That's where they have a lot higher defense. Once again for this, we're going to put them on 12 because they won't be, hopefully, your main front one taking damage, but they still need to have a good amount. Put it into their intelligence, that way they have more skills because they have more. When you level up, depending on your class, you'll get either more feats, more powers, and more skills. Sentinels tend to get more skills, so by giving them more intelligence, they have more skill points, so it's less wasted. Wisdom, once again, we're going to put it on 12. it's just bog standard, and charisma, once again, leave it on 10. So for the Scoundral, now Consoular, they won't be doing high damage with their weapon, so that on 10. Dexterity, you want that on 16. That way they have high defense, which is obviously good, because well, you always need high defense. We're going to put its intelligence on 14, because once again they do have a good amount of skill opportunities. Wisdom, we're going to put this on 12. Charisma, we will put this on 14. And yeah, you'll be asking why haven't I put Constitution any higher? You'll want to have it on 10 so there's no negatives, but by having a, you'll want to have your Consul and that further back from the fight, so they can do a bit more attack from behind the Guardian, so to speak. But now with an attributes, we'll move on to skills. Right, now we are on skills. Now, skills are all to do with non-combat things, so how good you're at fixing a droid or persuading people if you can notice certain things. Depending what class you have, depends on how many points you also have. So, because it's a soldier, I don't really start with much. But there are two types of skills. There's class and there's cross-class. A class skill is one that would only cost 1 point per level. So demolitions for me is a class one, whilst as you can see here. But computer use is a cross-class. Cross-class always costs more than class. You can put this in however you'd like, depending on what type of character you want to build. I mean, for the most part, soldier, you're only going to want to really put it in things like treat injury, or persuade, or awareness, because, well, they're important. They're important up to a point, but it is really up to you. If you think you're going to be needing to get that bit more health because you're quite new, go for a treat injury. If you want to unlock more dialogue options, choose awareness or persuade. This is obviously dependent on character to character, but you'll have more depending on what class you have. Now, we'll just skip over that because the skills are a lot more player dependent. But if we're going into feats, each class starts with different types of feats. So, a soldier, you'll start with armor proficiency, heavy, light, medium, so you get all the armor straight away. You also get power attacks, and you're good with pretty much every weapon, which makes sense. You are a soldier. Now you'll be thinking, what should I have? Well, in this game, there's certain standout ones, and obviously it goes down. So things like toughness. It's something that normally everyone gets, especially with a soldier. So you get 1 extra vitality point per level. That means by the cap of level 20 you'd have 20 extra health. Improved would subtract 2 points of damage, and you keep that 1+ point. And then with master you also get a extra point. So you have 40 extra health. But if you're first making your character, you're going to want to go for something either like toughness to get a little bit extra health, or what I would tend to do is either go for the first part be flurry. Flurry is arguably the best attack. You can argue each one depending which one you prefer, but I've always gone for flurry. And it gets you extra attack. People might argue you 2-weapon fighting, but you can always wait for that later on, especially since to start you don't have that many good 2-handed weapons. Now, with the Scout, you get the use of light and medium armor, you get flurry, you also naturally gain implant level, rapid shots and blasters, and basically everything but the heavy weapon. Now, the good thing about a Scout is at every I'll just show you here. Is it Scout you can do this? Best be, or I've just shot myself in the foot. But when you keep gaining levels, you will gain implants, so you don't have to waste a feat putting it into it. However, once again, I would recommend you choose something like toughness for that extra bit of health, or dueling. This gives you 1 extra to attack and defense, and because I recommend doing for a Sentinel or Scout, you'd either be ranged or using 1 handed weapon. It'd be a lot more beneficial, opposed to when you're a Guardian and you want to be using a 2-handed weapon. A Scoundrel starts with light armor, critical strike, sniper shots, and they are good with blasters. They also get sneak attack and Scoundrel's luck, which are unique abilities to them. Sneak attack will add bits of damage when the target can't respond to the attacker. So if you stealth walk up to someone and hit them, it will do more damage. Also, Scoundrel's luck, they have 2 extra defense, and this obviously increases with the higher level you go. Now, with a Scoundrel, obviously you're going to be wanting to build towards a Consular build, and you're going to want to be more defensive. So for that, I'd either go for toughness, which will always be something I recommend, or once again dueling. That way you do get the extra defense and you get the extra attack. And after you've done that, all you have to do is pick a name, and then you are off and running. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment, like what should I do at a certain point, how should I level them. So obviously it's up to you, but there are preferences for how to do it. But anyway, my name's been British by Gaming. Please leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.